Dylan, you there?
Yeah, man.
How's it
How's
going?
it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. All right, so you got a hand for us?
Uh, yeah, I do. I do
Okay.
have a hand. Let me just pull it up real quick,
Yeah,
just
what's
so
the
I get
size
all
of the
the.
game?
So this is yeah, I can give context. This is a
Yeah.
1-3 game
Okay.
at Monarch Casino in Black Hawk, Colorado.
Okay, so 1-3 Colorado, and is there a cap in the game?
It's a $500 cap.
500 max buy-in? Okay.
We're
Okay.
about 450 effective.
Okay.
So there's one limp from early position. I'm in the cutoff with Jack of Spades, 10 of Spades,
Okay.
and I open it up to $12.
So MP1
Then
limps and hero in cutoff, Jack of Spades, 10 of Spades goes to 12.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Then it folds around to the big blind, and he three bets to 35.
So the big blind 3 bets to 35. Okay.
Hmm. And then the limper folds,
Okay.
and then I make the call.
So he's just going to just over 3x, right? So you're in position. It's heads up. You have Jack 10 suited. I actually double flatted with Jack 10 suited on Tuesday against Johnny Vibes, and I got barreled off my hand. Funny enough, if anyone watched that, by the way, I put up a couple of my hands right before this as a YouTube video. I mean, the only times that I would consider folding here, sometimes like if it's a super, super OMC where you just know it's such a strong 3 betting range, it's like always aces, kings, and queens. I don't know how that is in this. Is this the smallest game in the room here?
This is the smallest game in the room, and there were a couple of those types. Like there wasn't much three betting going on in general in the game. Lots of limp, call, passive, very passive. So I found the sizing to be a little small because when he wasn't super OMC, but like he would defend with like a decent range of pans, but he wouldn't three bet. Yeah, I hadn't seen him three bet pretty much anything yet.
Yeah, that kind of makes it. But I mean, even still though, I mean, it's right around $50 and what it's like 23 for you to call with Jack 10 suited in position. It's kind of hard to fold. I mean, you're not that deep, but
No, I'm never folding
yeah,
Jack 10 suited
yeah,
in position to
yeah.
a small three bet because the other guys they would make it like 50 or
Hmm.
something,
Hmm.
and
Hmm. So it's like
then
$70, right?
then they flash me pocket kings when I folded. But okay.
so
But yeah,
so it's
so
like
I make the call and then
yep.
yeah, so it's about 70 and change in the pot,
Hmm.
and the flop comes six of spades, two of spades, two of hearts.
So 6 of spades, 2 of spades, 2 of hearts. You flop a flush draw.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I misread that. No, it was a two of clubs, but that's not
Okay.
really relevant.
Whatever. Six
Anyways,
deuce with 2 spades, right?
yeah, six
Yeah.
deuce deuce. And then the big blind he c bets for $20.
Okay. So very small.
Yeah, really small.
Mhm.
I make the pretty easy call.
Okay. So one quick thing here too. Um, so you are allowed to have some raises in 3-bet pots. And we've talked about this a little bit too. And here's my I think I might have even said this to you in the email. My sort of gut reaction here is that I don't know if players at 1-3 know enough about the game where if you raise on the flop, they're gonna call with like the some ace highs that they're supposed to call with. Like if a guy has like ace queen ace king and he bets 20 and you make it 60-65, a lot of guys are just going to fold. Okay? Whereas the higher stakes you go, a lot of guys are going to continue because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Do you follow what I'm saying? So I actually might have some raises here. Now, to play a counter, if you're saying, well, the guy's just going to, if he plays like very, very sort of pattern recognition, he's just going to check the turn.
I
So,
mean, I had seen him. I had seen him not c bet like ace king, ace queen when he missed the flop
okay.
before.
Yeah.
So like,
I-
what I put him on like either like I mean I think he would be capable of c betting like ace king, ace queen with like spades
mhm.
with a draw as well.
Yeah.
But I mostly it's going to be like over pairs.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the small sizing, and sure, I acknowledge people in chat say, how often are we raising this board? Like in theory, how often are we supposed to? Probably not much. I'm just talking
Not
about
a lot.
yeah, I'm just talking
We
about
should have some though. I agree.
I'm just talking about from a little bit of an exploitable thing. The reason why I might raise here is if I was up against somebody who I thought would c bet ace high and not continue. But to play devil's advocate with myself, a lot of times you can just bet the turn when check too, you know.
Yeah,
all right, so
it's kind of
110.
a different spot. Like it's like
Yeah.
yeah. So 110 of the turn. We got the three of diamonds. Oh wait, no, sorry, not the three of king of diamonds.
Okay, king of diamonds.
I got two hands like right next to each other.
No
Like,
worries.
I keep looking at the wrong one.
Yeah.
King of diamonds, and then big blind bets $45.
Okay, so big blind bets 45 now. You're getting 3-1. Obviously, that's kind of a terrible card for you, right? Because if you're looking at a pretty tight 3-betting range that might be unpaired, now that the king comes, what is the primary hand that's unpaired, right? The 3-bets, right? It's ace king. But now, you know, you're getting 3-1. You really only need 4-1 with one card to come on a flush draw. This is
I got about 20% if my pairouts aren't live.
right, and this is right out of small stakes exploits as well, where I don't remember which number it is, the small stakes exploit guide on CLP, where I said people undervalue their draws. They don't realize, like in a spot like this, let's say all your flush cards are good here, and he does have ace king or he has aces or something like that, right? I mean, you only need to make $50 at the end to make it break even. And because he's betting 45, it's really only like, you really only need 180, right? But, and then the other thing too is once you call, now the pot is like 200. So like the amount of money that you need to make is such a small fraction of the pot size on the river that a lot of people, they don't take that into account. So I think you probably do have to continue here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I took actually a little bit of time on this street before I made the call because I was calculating the pot odds, and I was like, what sort of implied odds am I getting if I actually do make my draw on the river, like compared to when he'll have like ace king of spades or whatever, and I'm just crushed.
Now, someone says you have to raise now 100% or fold. I do not agree with that.
No, I am not. I'm not raising here.
I do not agree with that. I would say the only reason why you would ever raise is somehow if this guy has some sort of double barreling frequency with like ace queen or ace jack. Do you think he would bet the turn with like queens or jacks or something like that too?
So I think because like basically we both saw this as like sort of disconnected high card. So like unless you have like some sort of spade draw with a king in it, like you have the king of spades or just like ace king with like just dry king of spades, then like this wouldn't really hit either of us. And I think he knew that it didn't really hit
it's a disconnected high card,
like
right?
My calling range on the flop. So.
Well, I mean, he bet so small on the flop. You should have all of your.
And it was like tiny on the turn. It was like just over double, like $5 over double. And
I mean, you should have your backdoor king X here, though. If you defend with suited broadways, you should have king 10, king jack, king queen of clubs here to his.
If I'm floating with like king queen.
Because he only went 20 into 70. Right. Sorry. So you call, right? Pot's 200.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I make the call, and then the river is the 6 of clubs.
Okay, so just for the podcast people, we've got MP, whatever. Hero goes to 12 with Jack 10 suited. This guy makes it 35 call and 6 deuce deuce 2 spades. Hero flops a flush draw. The guy goes 20. Hero calls. Turns the king of diamonds. Big blind goes 45. Hero calls. Now the river is the 6 of clubs for a 6 deuce deuce king 6 run out. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So after the river, he looked at it and he didn't look too happy, and then he checks. And then this was
before you tell us what to do, let's talk about this. So big blind checks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is why I kind of like this hand a little bit, because when you look at things from a theoretical, specifically like sort of theoretical point of view, you know, the theory goes that you are supposed to take some of your hands that are your worst hands that have absolutely no showdown value and bluff them, right? But I think that some people take that a little bit too far, in the sense that there are times where I will give up with no showdown value because I know I'm getting called. Like it would just be a pure spew. And if I ever want to find myself bluffing in a spot where I think I will often get called, I will not bluff that much You know what I mean? In terms of like pot size to maybe get him off a random shit. Here's the problem with this run out for you. But then again, it has to do with like the skill level of your opponents because the board is double paired here. If he happens to have like ace high somehow,
like some sort of ace spade draw.
yeah, or he was c betting with he was c betting with ace queen and then
like ace five of spades, whatever, like some weird shit. It's 1-3.
Let's just say that he was c betting with ace queen of hearts or ace jack and he used the king as a double barrel card. He whatever ace high that he arrives here with at the end. I think, like, if I were him and you bet the river here, and I didn't think that you were going to be betting, like, a single-paired king.
Or, like, like queens through.
I'd be calling a lot with ace high. I'd be calling a lot. Now, maybe guys don't think like that at 1-3. It just seems to me that, first of all, a lot of times he's going to have something with that it's better than ace high with showdown value. And then I still think you're getting called by ace highs here quite a bit. So I look at this and I might just give up even though I have no showdown value. People saying that you have a deuce or a I don't know how many sixes you have either, I mean, 7-6 suited, maybe 5-6.
I mean, here's where my thoughts on the river. I do agree if I'm up against like a real thinking opponent and they can probably smell that one out, and then make a call there, but I think that I don't like the way this specific hand that I turned it into a bluff. Well, could I say the river action?
Sure. Yeah. What did you do?
Oh yeah. So I went all in. I went all in.
Man.
For about like
for how much?
More, I think.
How much?
Well, it was it was 70, 90, so 160 plus. Okay. Yeah. So it's like once.
You have like 380, something like that. It's over almost 2 times the size of the pot, right? If you start with 450, 35, 55, 100, you have 350, right? Something like that. Right? 45 to 20, yeah, 350.
Yeah. So I just I thought about it for a bit, and then this was I jammed on him. It was partially a tilt jam just because. I had been I'd really not been active at all. Like the entire, this was the latter end, this like 3 a.m. Of a longer session. But I had not been getting any hands, been just folding a lot. Just hadn't made like any sort of moves or anything up.
Well, I will say though,
I just kind of tilted on him.
Well, I will say, Dylan, though, that with this large sizing, at least you might have a chance to get some ace highs to fold here for 350.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if he's going to be folding like queen or, a pair of tens plus or a king. So I don't know if this gets through for the amount that you are risking, right? Because you're risking almost double the size of the pot. If you're risking double the size of the pot, it would have to get through 66% of this. It's got to get through in the low 60s, something like that. And you have to be right in the low 60s, and I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. So what ended up happening?
Yeah, so basically he was thinking about it. He tanked for like 30 seconds or so. And then he showed his cards to like the guy next to him, and he was just like looked very unhappy with like the 6 at the end, I guess. And then he just mucked.
Did you find out what he had?
Yeah, so like he was like still angry, like a little bit angry into the next hand. He was like, I don't know how like he got me, and then I asked him, I was like, what did you fold, like just like ace high? And he was like, no, he said he had jacks.
Yeah, I mean that sort of goes back to what I had said right in the beginning of the river, where I said, well, you're going to get called a lot in this particular spot, but how much does your opponent know about poker? Because at the lower stakes, sometimes you wouldn't get called by ace highs, or you wouldn't get called by certain types of holdings. Like if he's got like jack no spade, like red jacks. I mean, I think that's pretty much always supposed to be a call, right? I mean, I don't, but I mean, depending on how many sixes or deuces you have, but. I mean, I can believe that he folded it. I personally wouldn't have done that, but
no, I only got like 4 combos of like ace 6 or ace 2 suited, or like, so it's very. I think that's why I agree with your input. I think I should turn, maybe if I was gonna turn like a draw into a bluff, it should be like like ace high spade draw. So then at least if he calls with ace high, like we could chop, but then weight it more towards value with the ace six, ace two suited. Because if he has a king, like ace king, as he
Mhm.
will like a decent amount from the three bet pre-flop, he's calling all day there. So I could just make a decent amount of an exploit.
And another very, very subtle thing too is that you're blocking some of those mid parish types of hands with Jack 10, right? There's less of a chance that he's got jacks and tens when you have Jack 10, right?
Yeah, that's why I didn't expect to have jacks because I was
Yeah,
like, I have
yeah.
Jack 10 suited.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, thanks for the call, Dylan. I appreciate it.